The next is consideration must not be unlawful, immoral, or opposed to public policy. Now we have taken I for this sentence, for this essential. Consideration must not be unlawful or immoral or opposed to public policy. Now, what do you mean by unlawful? Unlawful is something which is against law. Lawful is something which is as per law, which is in accordance with law. Unlawful is something which is against law. And I need not give you examples of things which are against law. You know that murdering is against law. Putting someone's house to fire is against law. So if you make a contract with someone for putting fire on somebody's house, such a contract would be void. This contract will not only be void, it will also be illegal because the consideration is unlawful in this. What you are getting in this contract is unlawful. You may be paying money. The consideration for the opposite party is lawful, but consideration for you is unlawful. So such contracts are void because law will assume that consideration is unlawful. And consideration cannot be unlawful, it always has to be lawful. Secondly, it cannot be immoral. We generally know what moral is, but it becomes very difficult for us to define what is moral. Moral means something which is right. So when I say I am doing a moral act, that means I am doing a rightful act, an act which is righteous in the nature, something which is right, something which is correct as per the society standards, as per the religious standards, as per the social standards. So immoral means which is against the social, religious or ethical standards. You are doing a wrong thing. Now, normally whatever is against society, whatever is against religion is considered to be unlawful, but there may be certain acts which might not be illegal or unlawful yet be immoral. I'll just give you an example. For example, let's consider a person B. Now he has a fiancée who is G. They both are seeing each other and they'll be married soon. Now this B has a friend who is, let's say, F. Now this person F, who's B's friend, is interested in G and he tries to woo her. F takes G out on a dinner. Now, do you think this act of F is illegal? Will he be put into jail just because he has taken G out for dinner? No, we know that B and G are seeing each other, they are about to marry each other, and F is B's friend. But just because F takes G out and he is trying to impress her does not make F's act illegal. He cannot be put behind the bars. However, by morality standards, if you see, F, who's B's friend, should not be taking his friend's fiancées out. He should not be taking his friend's fiancée out with him. He should not be trying to ogle at her. He should not be trying to impress her. That is immorality. This act is not illegal, yet it is immoral. I'll give you one more example wherein this was a case which happened. This is a real case. There was a lady who had taken a house for rent. The landlord had given her the house on rent for residential purpose. But what she did was, she started using the house as a brothel. Now, in this case, running a prostitution house is not illegal. We have various areas in our respective cities wherein there are prostitution houses. However, running a brothel or a prostitution house in a residential area is not which is considered to be good. It is not something which would be appreciated by the society. And as a person, one should always avoid it. So, this act might not be illegal. Later on, amendments were made, and this act was made to be illegal. But before this case, this act was not considered as illegal. However, it was considered as immoral. So, such cases where law does not prohibit you, yet ethical or religious or social standards prohibit you from committing that act becomes immoral. So, when you get into contracts of immoral acts, such acts will also be void. Such contracts will also be void because the consideration in such acts become immoral. Opposed to public policy. Now, what do you mean by something which is opposed to public policy? Opposed to public policy means something which is against the general benefit of the public, something which is against the public welfare. Consideration cannot be something which is against the society. There are various transactions, like, let's say you are in a trade with a country, let's say you are in trade with a company from China, and suddenly China gets at war with India. Would the government of India allow you to complete that transaction? It will not allow you to complete that transaction, because if you complete that transaction, if you repatriate money there, or if you purchase goods from there, you are helping an alien enemy. You are doing business with an enemy. You are helping the economy of an enemy, which will not be permitted by the Indian government. So, such a contract wherein a country is at war with India, the Indian laws do not permit you to do business with that country's persons, companies, firms, etc. One more example for this would be sale and purchase of public offices. You would have come across such examples, or possibly seen it in movies. You would have seen high posts like IAS, IPS, ACP, DCP. These are very high cadre posts. These are high level posts. Many a times, the recruiting authorities who recruit people for these posts tend to take bribes. Now, selling such posts to people who are not qualified enough, or who are not eligible, or who do not have the potential to hold that office, just for the sake of money, do you think that would be in the interest of public? No, that will not be in the interest of public. Public would prefer somebody who is capable to be a commissioner, who is capable to be an IAS officer, who has the potential, who has the capability. But just because a person has money, he can buy such posts, that would be against public policy. So somebody who engages in these contracts will be doing something which is against public welfare, against public policy. So such contracts are also void because the consideration is against public policy.